Applications to Business and Economics. In Section 3.8, we introduced the idea of marginal cost. Recall that if C of x, the cost function, is the cost of producing x units of a certain product, then the marginal cost is the rate of change of C with respect to x. In other words, the marginal cost function is the derivative, C prime of x, of the cost function. Now let's consider marketing. Let P of x be the price per unit that the company can charge if it sells x units. Then P is called the demand function or price function, and we would expect it to be a decreasing function of x. If x units are sold and the price per unit is P of x, then the total revenue is the following. R of x is equal to x times P of x, and R is called the revenue function. The derivative, R prime of the revenue function, is called the marginal revenue function, and is the rate of change of revenue with respect to the number of units sold. If x units are sold, then the total profit is P of x, which is equal to R of x minus C of x, and P is called the profit function. The marginal profit function is P prime, the derivative of the profit function. So for example 6, we want to maximize revenue. A store has been selling 200 DVD burners a week at $350 each. A market survey indicates that for each $10 rebate offered to buyers, the number of units sold will increase by 20 a week. Find the demand function and the revenue function, and how large a rebate should the store offer to maximize its revenue. Well, the first thing is we need to define some variables here. So what we're going to do is we're going to let x, be the numbers sold per week. Okay. So therefore, we would say that x minus 200, since that's 200 DVDs, is equal to the weekly increase in sales. Okay, so what we need to decide here now is that for each increase of 20 players sold, the price increases by $10. So increase of 20 players sold gives us $10 decrease in price because of the rebate. Increase of 1 player sold is going to be $10 divided by the 20 decrease, which is going to give 50 cents. So now what we want to do is we want to find the demand function. Now the demand function represents the price function. Okay, so that is P of x. Okay, so in order to find the price function, well, we know how much burners a week is at $350 each. So a store has been selling the burners at $350 each. So we have 350. And then we're going to subtract, 1 player of the x minus 200. The 1 player is going to be 10 over 20 times x minus 200. Okay, so now let's figure out what P of x is. So if we distribute the 10 over 20, which is the same thing as 1/2, so that's going to give us 1/2 x, and then 1/2 minus 1/2 of minus 200 is going to give us plus 100. And so therefore, if we add 350 with the 100, we're going to get 450 minus 1/2 x. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to find the revenue function. Okay, so what do we know about the revenue function? Well, the formula is up here for the revenue function. It's x times p of x. So we know r of x is going to equal x times p of x. Okay, so we know that r of x now is going to equal x times the profit function, which we found to be 450 minus 1/2 x. So distribute the x, and we're going to get 450x minus 1/2 x squared. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to be able to find the derivative of the revenue function. So what's the derivative of the revenue function? Well, if we look at the function 450x, we know we're going to get 450. Derivative of minus 1/2 x squared is going to be minus x. Okay, and so now we're going to set that equal to 0. So we have 450 minus x, and we're going to set that equal to 0. And solving for x is going to give us 450. Okay, so what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that r of x will reach or reaches its maximum at x, which is equal to 450. And that's because since the parabola opens downward. And why is that? Because we have a negative here in front of that negative 1/2 x squared. So the parabola there is going to be opening downward. So now what we want to do is we want to find out what happens at p of 150. So we're going to plug that into the profit function here. So we have 450 minus 1/2 of 150, which gives us 450 minus 225. And so that equals 225. So therefore we can say that the rebate would be the following. Well, the rebate is taking the $350 cost and subtracting the 225, which will give us $125 for the rebate.